Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We have myself, actually Amungus here, your coach of the Atlanta Sobble, and we're back again, week 9 now of the PWD Draft League. We're winding down, we're getting close to the end of the season. Of course, it has been a great season for myself and my Atlanta Sobble team. We are now sitting at 6-2 coming into this week after a win against Coach Bishme in the New York Knicks. But this week, we have an even tougher challenge. As much respect as I give to Coach Bishme, we have one of the coaches that has been on a tear through this league. Coach Squid and the Lisbon Arcanines. Now, admittedly, Coach Squid had a little bit of a rough, patchy start at the beginning of the season. But he's sitting real good right now at 5-3, right behind me. And everybody, myself included, Coach Arts, Coach Blau, Coach Bishme, everybody has heaped tons of praise in the repeat ball recaps and otherwise on Coach Squid's play, his playing ability, his prep, his ideas. I mean, I can keep going on and on and on about all the things that Coach Squid has done well, especially in the last few weeks of the season as he is on quite a win streak. He just beat Coach Arts and the Lake of Rage Gyarados last week, which was the team that gave me my last loss. So, as we're starting to get to the lead matchup part here, I'm going to start to break it down a little bit. The one big hole that I seen in Coach Squid's team is that unless I give him the opportunity by setting up maybe my Blastoise, which is Shell Smash again this week, unless I give him the opportunity to make a really powerful Pokemon, there's not a whole lot of really powerful options on his team. Now, he did draft Gigantamax Gengar. It didn't come to this battle, but that was a potent option that he could have brought as far as talking about his team's potency and hit power. But, not to discredit Escavalier, Crocodile, Colossal, which has put in good work in other battles for Coach Squid, and even Rotom is obviously a respectable Pokemon with balanced stats. No disrespect, but on my side, I also have Tangrowth and Aegislash, Miltank, and other pretty stout, thick Pokemon that can handle it. So, coming into this battle, I was kind of thinking that I had a defensive advantage most clearly, and also keeping in mind Squid's team is led by his S-tier pick Ditto, and as I was trying to say before, I can give Squid the offensive advantage that I make for myself, but using a Ditto to copy fat Pokemon is a little more difficult. I had pre-decided before the battle to lead with my Tangrowth. I knew that the Gengar was a factor in prep. He obviously ended up not bringing it. But his team had a lot of different ways that he could approach the lead matchup. However, I did think that a few options were better than others, meaning Crocodile, Rotom-Mow, obviously. Colossal does fit this description. And also, he has a Alolan Dugtrio on the roster, all of which Tangrowth should be able to do some decent work, at least on the first turn against. I went for the knockoff, knowing that the Volt Switch was coming. I really didn't know what he might go for, considering that he already had his best resist out in the game. He could have gone to his type Null, and he ended up going to his Escavalier. So I knocked off just a Scout for like Choice Band, knock off an assault vest maybe on an Escavalier, or something else that may have came in. If I could have got lucky enough to get the knockoff on the Titanol, that would have been huge. Well, it turned out that the Escavalier was carrying a scope lens, so we proceed with the next phase of our plan against this thing. We've got Miltank running 156 attack and 156 defense IVs. It's able to get up stealth rocks against my opponent's team. One of its main purposes is also max speed and jolly. But in return, it gets poisoned. A good read by Squid, figuring that I was probably forced to switch against the Escavalier, unless I was carrying, I don't think, no, Tangrowth gets no, I mean, it gets Earthquake. That's probably the best, and it's still going to resist, so. He knew there was nothing I could do, so he made a good read and got the Toxic off on my Miltank. That's fine, but it's unfortunate. Another great read by Squid to catch the Aegislash when it switches in. Of course, I was predicting that Coach Squid would try to remove the Stealth Rocks that I just put up, and made an excellent read by predicting that I would predict that and going for the Scorching Sands. However, my Aegislash is max special defense, max HP, and it's ready to tank a bunch of hits. So even though I missed my first Toxic right here, I ain't even stressing that, because I can tank at least three. I can tank a few hits from this thing. Now, because of the miss, getting a little ahead of myself in the battle, but because of the miss, Aegislash is going to end up taking more damage than I would have liked. And I do Toxic the Colossal, which is a bulky threat that can be ran multiple ways, and dealing with it this way, wearing it down, is safe and obviously dependable when I have moves like Substitute and King Shield. But as I was saying, at this point in the battle, we've taken way more damage on our Aegislash than I would have liked. So we're gonna make the switch here. We're gonna go back. We didn't do that? My bad. I didn't record this right after the video. It would have made sense to go to Miltank because of the thick fat ability, but we end up going to our Hitmonchan. He switches as well, and he goes to his Escavalier, which, okay, admittedly, I'm starting to remember a little bit of how this had taken place, because I know that Hitmonchan is huge for me this game. He ends up picking up his first kill right here off of the Fire Punch on the Escavalier. I had honestly went out to Hitmonchan here expecting him to stay in, and I don't know if I would have forced the switch or what, but obviously when he switched as well, it threw off my current train of thought, my current read anyway. But this Scarfed Hitmonchan was still really imperative against him. It's able to come in and basically claim a kill almost any time that it comes in against his team. Rotom can take one Fire Punch and then it gets 2 hit KO'd. Crocodile looks like it's an Intimidate, possibly bulk build, so like maybe could take a Drain Punch. Type Null can also take one, but can't really do any damage to Hitmonchan in return. So this was a great Pokemon to like pivot off of throughout the match, as well as the Miltank, which I had almost went to on the prior switch. But the normal typing and thick fat ability is what makes Miltank so useful, even though its role is kind of fulfilled at this point by getting up the rocks. That kind of adds to its usefulness, because then once the rocks are up, it can play its real role as kind of like a chip damage engine and fodder to bring out the right things that I need to remove on his team. So you're going to see a little bit of that right here. As I go for the body press, probably not the best play. I was expecting a little bit more damage, but I also didn't know if I should expect like a double switch or something. I thought that the play into Colossal was a little weird here, so I kind of just went for the safer option. And when he stayed in, I figured he'll probably stay in a second time. He didn't go for the rapid spin, so I didn't know if he was still looking to try to remove those hazards. But I went for the obviously much more effective Earthquake and ended up kind of picking up the KO. Put the kill on Aegislash, of course, because it was the one that poisoned the Colossal, but I ended up getting rid of the threat, and that's what I mean by picking up the kill. So we're also rocking this week a sub-disable Toxic Salazzle. You know, it's definitely not the most common set that I run. It's a situational set. You know, it's not a set that I can always use. But naturally speaking, you know, no choice scarfs or boosts involved. Naturally, Salazzle was the fastest Pokemon in this entire matchup, both teams. And that alone honestly makes it like not the worst Ditto target. So I was running plenty of sets with Substitute on him this week to make it harder for Squid to play around me with Ditto, or to maybe even try to bait it in. But you know, that ended up not being the way that Salazzle worked out, and she ends up just getting some subs off, some toxics off, using her speed in that way. But the real trickery didn't get to come out with the, like, for example, against Crocodile, if it was an offensive build especially, and trying to set up a Moxie boost on me, like I said, one of the offensive options I considered Coach Squid could have tried to use to exploit my team. Ideally, if I can still have, you know, if it's not Scarf and I outspeed, I can bring in the Salazzle. I could substitute in the Colossal's face, or not the Colossal, the Crocodile's face. And then when he goes for the Earthquake, which most people would, considering it's 4 times super effective, and Salazzle melts like cotton candy in hot water to ground attacks, I could then sub on the first Earthquake. I sub, he Earthquakes, sub breaks, then disable his Earthquake on the next turn, and also to be wearing him down with Toxic at the same time. None of those niche plays worked out. And once a couple things get poisoned, I kind of see that I'm getting what I'm getting out of my 2 toxic Pokemon, pun intended. And so like at this point I'm gonna get off the second toxic, and like these 2 are kind of such low health that it's becoming obvious that they're not going to be doing any more. Well, just for lack, I mean, they're not going to be like stalling out entire mons. They're just getting the toxic off, soaking up a few hits. By the way, Aegislash does a great job of soaking up the Shadow Ball right there. With 14 HP left as well, so there's a good possibility that that wasn't even a roll. I should have just been able to live that. So like I said, I've got some key Pokemon poisoned, another key Pokemon in Colossal that's already fainted, and that's basically all that I can really expect out of these Pokemon with the prep that Coach Squid did bring. You know, I had brought Aegislash, because, you know, if I wanted to sub-toxic stall, I could have done it with my Sableye as well, but with the access to the priority Shadow Sneak, I thought that in the case of Gengar come in, a little bit of chip damage, I could have picked up the KO with Shadow Sneak, so I left behind the Grimmsnarl. In hindsight, seeing how well Squid prepared, you know, maybe the Sableye would have been a lot better because he would have dealt with the Scorching Sands better. He would have dealt with the Shadow Ball better. He would have done the same job but more effectively with the Prankster ability helping him out as well. But, you know, it is what it is. At this point, we're sitting at 5-4 anyway. So, like, we kind of feel like with 2 of the 4 Pokemon toxic, the game is almost locked down here. So, we're going to preserve our Aegislash, expecting like an Earthquake or something of the sort, and switch in our Tangrowth onto the Crocodile. It's going to take the Foul Play, choke it up like the ShamWow that it is, and we're basically going to pivot off of Tangrowth a lot at this stage in the battle, because what I see is that I have a lead, and by using his Pokemon, my opponent is hurting his Pokemon. You know, every turn 2 of his Pokemon take toxic damage. Also, now my Tangrowth does, and that's a great play by Coach Squid. But basically, just explaining my mindset is that I can go for safe, non-aggressive moves and just switch in and out my Tangrowth, because every time I bring my Tangrowth in, take a similar amount of damage to what I've taken from an attack right here, and then bring my Tangrowth back out, I've really done work against my opponent's team, no matter how much the attacks from Tangrowth actually do. I don't know if that makes sense the way I tried to explain it, but like I'm saying, and it's got Giga Drain as well against a ground type Pokemon. So like right here, I'm going to keep it in for an extra turn, even though it's taking poison damage as I go. All of this is just fine by me, because when I do switch out the Tangrowth, the Regenerator ability is going to trigger, and I'm basically not moving backwards at all. So we're going to Giga Drain again right here. This is where Crocodile is going to go down. Oh wait, no, it doesn't go down here. That's correct. My bad. We didn't Giga Drain. Sorry, like I said, I usually record the commentary right after the battle. And I went to work today and did my whole shift before rewatching this battle. It's actually Hitmonchan that comes in and does what I was talking about earlier against a lot of my opponent's team. Hitmonchan can just come in and claim a kill, more or less. So he's going to do that. Takes a lot from the Earthquake. Really am interested to see Squid's side of this battle to see the kind of set that was on this Crocodile, because it's a good one. Whatever it is, it's an interesting and good one. It's actually at this point that basically Claydol are... Wow, I really got myself mixed up. Hitmonchan, Claydol's also on my roster, but this is Hitmonchan, really secured it with me with that last kill, because that's one of his main checks to both Aegislash and Salazzle. They're now free to attempt to do a little bit more work. It's one of his main offensive Pokemon, so like Rotomo is, like I said earlier in the video, it's a balanced stat Pokemon, so it can be offensive or defensive. But Escavalier's already gone, Crocodile's gone, and Colossal is gone. So unless he gets a Ditto copy, his ability to break my team at this point is really hindered. And Titanol is obviously really great wall, but not doing a lot. We seen the damage on the Air Slash earlier in the battle, but it doesn't get much better than that. knowing that the Rotom is Scarf and locked into Shadow Ball, we actually end up sacrificing, intentionally we sacrifice our Aegislash here. And that's just honestly to bring in Hitmonchan again. Because at this point, we got the Rotom under 50%. I know I said it earlier in the match. And I know I did the calcs. I'm figuring, like, this is the percentage where Rotom should start being in kill range. And obviously with the poison counter ticking, we're looking to lock that up at any moment. We go for the Sludge Bomb here. Do we? Yeah, we go for the Sludge Bomb here. And let them switch out. Oh, yeah, okay. Rotom doesn't faint this game. That's right. This is the last kill. Because I know that the timer's coming up. And I know this because my music ended. Sorry. The background music went off. We're going to just shoot the rest of this one a cappella. But, yeah. We end up getting the Eviolite finally off of this thing. The timer is ticking down. But trying not to exactly repeat myself. But it is like I had already kind of broke down the last phase of this battle. As long as the damage isn't major, even with the Toxic, I'm only moving forward by using Tangrowth in this way. I'm gaining HP more than I'm losing it. On this exchange, maybe a little less. But my point still stands. And I had the two weakened Pokemon in Salazzle and Aegislash that I could use to bring in other threats. Which, technically if the battle were to come down, well, it does come down to, spoiler alert, it does come down to HP. Which y'all probably already figured with as many Pokemon are still remaining and less than 2 minutes left in this battle. This is actually about to be the last turn, if I'm not mistaken. Because, yes, Hitmonchan just comes in. I Dynamax for show because the clock's winding off. This was not another one of those Shade of Defeat week 4, 6. I don't remember what week that was. But this is not another one of those plays where I was like intentionally Dynamaxing to increase my HP. I would have done that with Tangrowth, just to be, bluntly honest. But it was just basically to make the video better, Just a big old Max Knuckle to finish it off. Hitmonchan will pick up his third kill, making it 3 on the week. And this is Hitmonchan's best week. I mean, he's had some solid performances before where he's came in and picked up key revenge kills. But to pick up 3 in this week was huge for me. And we end up defeating the Lisbon Arcanine, which was a huge sigh of relief. But it does go to timer, and we end up beating the Lisbon Arcanine 3-2. Not the way that I would have liked to see it end. I didn't really have time to play around his Ditto and my Blastoise. Like, I know I could have set that up at some point, but I wanted to chip and or remove the Ditto before I obviously clicked Shell Smash. Obviously. So it ends up going to timer for reasons like that. And of course, I did kind of wear down some Pokemon with Toxic. So it is what it is. I think it was a great game by both coaches. And I definitely see Coach Squid as a potential rematch as we try to wrap this season up with 2 more weeks to go. And then we'll be into the playoffs. And I'm very excited. I know a lot of people have been worn out that this has been a long season for some people. Not all of our coaches have made it through the season. And I got a ton of respect for everybody that's in this league right now. And can't wait for playoffs. Can't wait to see what comes out of Season 3 when it comes around. Admittedly, I'm a little happy that there's going to be a break as well. But this has been a great season. And man, I really hope that the Atlanta Sobble will come out as the champion. But until next time, guys, I'll catch you guys. Peace.